What is up, YouTube? It is Jalarin here again with another video. I'm really sorry that I actually never wound up making other videos last month like I said I was gonna, but my inability to actually get off my ass and do stuff that actually requires a little bit of effort kinda took over, not gonna lie. But anyway, here I am again with my haul for April of 2017. Now, before I start, I'm going to acknowledge the fact that there was, sort of a challenge going on for April, which was the no buying manga challenge, which sounded like hell on wheels, and I didn't want to do it because I hate falling behind on shit, and I don't pre-order my stuff ahead of time like a smart person. So I obviously didn't participate in that, but I did buy significantly less manga than I did last month, which was nearly 60 things. So let's get started with that before I go on rambling any more than I already have. And before we get to the manga, I actually have two things that aren't manga. They're actually graphic novels. Now, I don't collect a lot of graphic novels. I don't have a huge freaking collection. Maybe one day I'll show you guys, but it's not as big as my manga collection, obviously, but I do collect things here and there. And so I got two graphic novels this month, and one of them is Saga Volume 7. Now, I am way too impatient a motherfucker to wait for the big ol' hardcover omnibuy like other people do, so I buy the collected floppy versions. And not to give anything away, but this volume fucking ruined me. Holy shit. Saga is is no stranger to crazy shit happening in it that emotionally fucks with you, but this one in particular was a doozy, let me tell ya. Alright, and then the other volume I got was actually a birthday present from my fiance, and that one is Skydoll Spaceship Collection. Let me back out here just a second so you can witness its full glory. Now, I recently gotten the Skydoll, and when I say recently, I mean I got the Decade Edition last year that has parts 1, 2, and 3 and a bunch of other little extras in it. And I fucking fell in love with it, and it's fucking great. But then I realized that there were other little extra doodads floating around that I didn't have, and I was kind of bummed about it that I wasn't getting the full Skydoll experience. But then I found this particular one that actually had all the things that I was missing, and so I asked my fiance to get it for me for my birthday. And this particular one has Olive Spaceship and Olive Lacrima Christi. And I am damn hyped because part 4 is coming out in August, so I can't wait for that. Alright, now we're going on to the manga, and when I say manga, the first thing I have is a manhwa, and that is The Great Gatsby. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever freaking heard of this one, but I read a majority of it when I was in high school online, but I never actually finished it. But I really, really love the story, and it's about this cat, literally this cat, named Gatsby. That's him right there. Oh, and yeah, it's full color, by the way, just throwing that out there. But it's about this cat named Gatsby and his depressing ass life. And I read a majority of it in high school, but I never really finished it. And every once in a while I remember that it exists, and I think to myself, I could probably buy that, and I never do. But I finally got it, so I can finally cross that off the old bucket list. And I got Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5, And finally, volume 6, which was the most expensive out of all of them, because I feel like this one's going out of print faster than all the rest of them. But a significant amount of these, like, aside from volume 6, all the rest of them are kind of slightly damaged. But that's kind of what I paid for, considering I paid less than $3 for all the other 5 volumes. Ow! Next up we have volume 1 of Rinshan Now. And it's a manga about Kagamine Rin from Vocaloid. And I am super goddamn hyped because this year a shitload of Vocaloid manga is coming out from, like, mostly from Seven Seas and Dark Horse. But oh my god, like, I don't know where the fuck it's coming from, like, why all of a sudden, but both of these two companies are putting out, like, at least 2 series apiece between them, and that is fucking rad. But one of them is Rinshan Now, and it's just, you know, it's a comedy slash slice of life, just quick little short stories about Rin, and I figured I'd get it considering I fucking love Vocaloid, so yeah. Next up we got our little shot of Shonen, which I don't normally pick up Shonen Jump titles. If you take a quick look through, like, my entire collection, you'll see maybe, like, 5, 6 tops out of everything that I own, but I don't normally gravitate towards Shonen Jump stuff specifically. Like, I'm not gonna say that I don't like Shonen, because I have a fuck ton of Shonen. I just don't like the Shonen Jump pedigree of stuff that they usually have. But I finally broke down, and I got a semi-new series that they've been putting out recently, and that is Seventh Garden. And it's not to give anything away, but this series is not as it seems. Like, in the beginning, you think something's going on, but the deeper you go, the more you realize that something completely goddamn different is happening. And I bought volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and volume 4, which puts me up to date, and I think the next one's coming out in, I want to say either June or July, I forget which one, but can't wait for more, honestly. I'm super glad I finally found a Shonen Jump series, at least one that's pretty new, that I can actually fucking stand. Next up, we got Ghost Diary, Volume 1. I kind of bought this half for the premise, half for how pretty the cover looked, because I'm shallow, and usually half the shit I buy is because I think it looks pretty. And this is the definition of fucking pretty. Not really much I can say about the plot, though. It's just about this guy, and he's trying to find his sister who got spirited away when he was little. And he meets this Shinigami who says that she will help him find his sister if he helps her complete this ghost diary that his sister left behind. That's like this guide to hunting down and, like, exorcising ghosts and stuff. And yeah, it's a pretty short series. I think it's only 3 volumes, so I figure I might as well get invested considering it's not that long. Ooh, this one was probably one of my favorite, the favorite, brand new pickup that I got this month. And that is Complex Age. Now, I wasn't really sure what the fuck this was about in the first place. I saw it at the bookstore, but only a couple times, and only the spines, so I never really knew what it was about. But I finally pulled it out just one day and realized that it's a manga about cosplaying. And I'm all about those manga that have to deal with, those nerdy niche things. And this one is specifically about this girl named Nagi. I forget her full name, but her nickname is Nagi. And she is a cosplayer, but she's also a 26-year-old office worker. And, throughout the series, she's put through all these, trials or just things one faces when one is into a nerdy, kind of childish hobby when you're an adult. And every single problem she had really hit home with me. Like, her parents find out that she's into cosplay, and her coworker finds out she's into cosplay, and then she gets a boyfriend, and she has to tell her boyfriend she's into cosplay. And it's just her, like, coming to terms with her hobby and having to face the troubles that come with having a hobby that not a lot of people will understand, especially when you're an adult, in the adult world. And I got volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and volume 4. Next volume comes out in June, and I can't wait because every single one of these ends on like a nail-biting cliffhanger, and I'm just sitting around thinking about what my poor girls are gonna do now. So yeah, can't wait for more of this shit. Oh, and finally, folks, we have the big one. And now this wasn't a thing I purchased this month. I actually pre-ordered it near the beginning of the year because I saw it was coming out and I was mad hype. And it was originally supposed to come out in February. That's what the website said, that's what Amazon said. And it was supposed to come out at the tail end of February. And I pre-ordered it, and I like lurked hardcore on Amazon waiting for it to update to tell me when it was going to get there. But end of February came and then went, and it didn't show up, and I was kind of panicking, like, what the fuck is going on? And it turns out that the release date got pushed back to April, and so I had to sit around on my fucking hands for like 3 months waiting for this to come out. Now, to add insult to injury, it was that people still got it. Like, I don't know if it was because a lot of people pre-ordered it and they had to push the release date back because so many people pre-ordered it. I don't know how the fuck that worked, but I saw a couple of people that actually got it on the day it was supposed to be released and not the day it wound up actually getting released. And so I had to sit around waiting for this to come in while knowing full well that other people had it. And it was just a green-eyed monster for 3 months. But I finally have it, and I can finally be fully satisfied with myself. And that is the Utena, the revolutionary Utena girl. Motherfucker, the Revolutionary Girl Utena box set. I know how to speak words pretty damn good. Anyway, holy fucking shit. It's really unfortunate that my camera is such a piece of shit and you can't fully just take in the full glory that is this beautiful box set by Viz. And I love how Viz doesn't do a lot of like really nice hardcover shit, but every single time that they have done something in hardcover, it has been fan-motherfucking-tastic. Like, if you just take a look at the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure hardcovers, and I think there was one other one that they did that I have, but I totally forget what it is. I'm looking around and I'm not really seeing it, but holy God, I am so happy to have these, and they are just... Let me shimmy this out of here. They are absolutely fucking perfect. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to shake this camera around. Sorry. Ooh, yeah. They are fucking wonderful. Look, this vibrant, like the colors on the back are. It's got gold paneling on the side. Oh my God. Like... I am so glad that Utena is finally getting the treatment that it fucking deserves, because it really does deserve it. And I am so glad to finally have these in my hot little hands. It is a treat to own, and every single time I look into my, like, manga closet and spy Utena on the bookshelf, I just grin like a fucking idiot, because I am so happy to have these. Holy fuck. Okay, and now we are going to move on to continued series, and I have a few of those here with me this month. Not as much stuff came out this month as it did last month, which I'm glad for, because it gave me time to take a breather from the chaos that was fucking March. So the first up that I have is Welcome to the Ballroom Volume 3, which came out last month, but I wasn't able to get it in time. And Volume 4. Now, they are coming out with these every month, and I'm a little worried as someone who follows a couple of series that have caught up with Japan, where the wait time in between volumes is like a fucking year, is because from what I've read online, this series is 8 volumes long and it is still ongoing, and the next volume, Volume 5, is coming out next month, and Volume 6 is coming out the next month after, I think maybe 2 months after that. But we are catching up a little too fast with this series, and I'm really afraid that we're gonna come to a screeching halt because we'll catch up with Japan, which is really unfortunate because I'm finally getting goddamn invested in this series. Like, oh, I got like crazily emotionally invested in the very first tournament arc that are in these 2 volumes. And I can't wait to see where the series is gonna go, because it's fucking ballroom dancing, and that's a whole new thing to me, and it ain't no football or like crazy like volleyball shit where people are pulling out like moves out their fucking ass. This is just and just the art and the way that the artist draws like the people moving around, movement. It is just a great series. And if you like sports manga, and if you want something just a wee bit different from like, you know, your general sports manga fare, definitely check out Welcome to the Ballroom. It was a legitimate surprise to me how much I enjoy this series. So goddamn much. Up next, we have Scum's Wish Volume 3, which was particularly scummy. Can't wait for more of that sweet, sweet, awful fuck. And then we have Toyo Game Volume 3, which is the final volume in this series, and holy crap. The last volume was just constant shit after thing. Just, my heart almost couldn't fucking take it. It wasn't that it was sad, it was just that so much awful things were happening one after the other without, like, being able to have, like, a break from the monotony. But it was a great series, and like I said, if you enjoyed shit like Another or like Battle Royale, definitely check out Toyo Game. It's a quick 3-volume series. As far as omnibuses by Yen Press go, they're pretty cheap, like $15. You can't really see that, but trust me, it says $15. And yeah, pretty great series. Glad to have it as a part of my collection. And next up we have our Assassination Classroom for this month. Just got a smug Kuro-sensei on the front. Love it. And this one, we got to learn quite a bit of stuff in this one. And things are finally feeling like they're picking up. And I'm kind of curious to see how much more it picks up, considering we have 6 more volumes? Yeah. 6 more volumes to go, and I can only imagine that by the time we get to volume 21, we're going to be going at breakneck speed, and it's going to be like, oh my god, Assassination Classroom, please stop, please stop. Up next, we have I Am a Hero, volume 3, which, so glad to have this. It was a really good volume. It was a great addition to the series. And next one, I think it's coming out a lot sooner than all the other ones have. I feel maybe my sense of time is out of whack, and they're actually been spaced evenly. But I feel like the space between volume 3 and volume 4 is a little bit smaller than the space there was between volume 2 and volume 3. Yeah, those are numbers. Anyway, yeah, super. I can't go into a lot of shit because a lot of spoilery things happen in this one, but it is damn cool, and I love it. Next, we have Ajin, Volume 9, and there's just so much space in between when these volumes come out. I totally forget what happened, and I wind up having to read, like, the whole series in order to read, like, the latest volume, because it's like, wait, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened before that? What the fuck happened before that? Ajin, Volume 9, crazy shit, loving it. Up next, we have Tokyo ESP Volume 8, and this is the final volume in the series, which is another completed series for my collection, and I'm really, really happy to have collected this series. And just like, I originally bought it just for straight up aesthetics because I liked the art, but the story was really great, and it was so good. And the ending was kind of satisfying. There was a couple of loose ends where I was kind of just all like, with, but for the most part, a very satisfying ending to a really great series. Next, we have Magical Girl Apocalypse Volume 11, and this one kind of confirms what I thought was going on from Volume 9 onwards, and it's actually like a prequel part to the actual start of the entire series. And there's not a lot I can say about what happens in like this prequel season, but at the very end of this, it pretty much just leads up into Volume 1. So I'm glad that we got a lot of like some mystery solved out of the way, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen next, because it feels like we're finally gonna like dive into actually what happened next after Volume 8, which is pretty rad. I would really like to know what the fuck happened after that. Alright, next we have Monster Hunter Flash Hunter Volume 7. Obviously a very personal favorite of mine, and as you can see by the front cover, this time we are fighting the Lagia Cruz. And I definitely relived some moments from Monster Hunter Tri-Ultimate by reading this, and one of them was the spatial awareness that one does not have underwater. When you're fighting a monster underwater, if you have not fought a monster underwater before, bless you, you have not suffered as we have suffered. But when you're fighting something underwater, it feels like it's right there in front of you, so you swing your fucking great sword, but turns out it's actually like way fucking ahead of you, and then you fucking die because you're an idiot. But yeah, another volume of this great series. Love it. As a person who has played Monster Hunter before, like I've said before, it is the great quintessential Monster Hunter manga, if you've played Monster Hunter before. And next, this is a part of the completion challenge, because I gotta have some of this in every haul, or else I fail, and God forbid I fail at the one thing I'm good at, which is buying shit. Anyway, I got more of Death Note, and I got Death Note Volume 6. Let me shake my camera a little more. Volume 7, Volume 8, and Volume 9. This, again, I keep finding these randomly in bookstores, which, at least in my area, is really rare, because they're mostly selling the big old black editions and not the single editions anymore. But I keep on coming across more of them, and it's all like, okay, I was gonna buy this online, but since it's here... So yeah, there's my chunk in my completion challenge out of the way. Up next, we have here Princess Jellyfish Volume 4, which is more stuff that wasn't in the original anime, and they're getting deeper into actually creating the Jellyfish brand in this volume. And a lot of other shit too, of course, but for the most part it's them trying to learn how to start like a fashion brand and the complications, obviously, that come with such a thing when you try to get a bunch of NEETs who don't really like interacting with the general public to do a fashion line. And I'm really excited to see where the series is going to go from here, because I saw the anime, and the anime just kind of drops off. And you never really know, like, the fate of the characters after that, I think. And I'm really anticipating what's going to happen next, and what's going to happen to these characters in their home. And I'm really just I'm damn excited. I wish I knew more words to explain why I like things. And finally, as a part of my April 2017 haul, we have Blade of the Immortal Omnibus Volume 2. Once again, it's a great series, and I don't recall I actually worded my gripes with this series when I was going over my manga in my manga collection video. And don't get me wrong, this is a great series, and you should definitely go get it, especially if you're into the whole, like, samurai period kind of Japanese pieces. But there's a couple of things that I kind of have just a little problem with. Not enough to make me drop it, obviously, since I bought Volume 2. But one of the things is most of Dark Horse's big ol' important omnibuy, they've had full color pages of, like, all the full color artwork that was featured in each of the volumes that they publish. And that's kind of a consistent thing they have in all of their, like, really nice omnibuy. But Blade of the Immortal, none of the stuff that's in full color is in full color. It's all black and white. There are no special glossy color pages that feature, like, the artwork that was on the cover. And I know that there were, like, some special extra images in Volume 1 that were originally probably in color that weren't in color. And that's just a minor gripe, though. And the other one is that, obviously, as you can tell, if you've seen this volume before, it is flipped. And it has not been flipped back to its original Japanese format. And I feel they did that because they put in a little bit of effort when they were flipping it. Which, just fuck flipping manga, like, at all. And I'm really glad that that's not a practice that people do anymore. But this one, I guess what they did is, when they were flipping it, they consulted the manga author. And what they did was, for some pages, they did a technique called, like, the cut and paste technique, where they took all of the panels and they rearranged them in a Western left-to-right format, where it would actually make sense. But that's only some of the pages. In some of the pages, they're just straight up flipped, and when you have a scene where people are talking, and one person's on one side of, like a patio, and one person's on another side of the patio, and all of a sudden, on a random page, they're on two different opposite ends of the patio, you can really tell when they had a page that was using the cut and paste technique to make things make sense, and when they just straight up flipped a fucking page. And it is, I really wish that Dark Horse had just flipped it back to the original Japanese format and not given us this flipped stuff in the year of our Lord, 2017. But I guess it's just how we're gonna get it. Which is fine. It's a good story. And every single time I buy one of these volumes, I feel like a part of my soul is like, hey guys, I'm buying Blade of the Immortal like everybody else. Am I cool yet? Am I cool yet? Anyway, that was my haul for the month of April 2017. I'm gonna really try to at least put out 1 or 2 other videos this month. I'm honestly not gonna shoot for the stars here, but maybe 1 or 2 videos that aren't just me talking about the shit that I bought. No promises, but I'm gonna put forth some effort into trying to put a little more content on my channel. But until then, I will see you all next time. with more shaky cam and a lot less manga throwing, my friends. Until then, goodbye.